I'm not supportive of the union case because I believe the UK is fine as it is. Certainly it isn't. Profound change is required, and I'm deeply sceptical of Gordon Brown, David Cameron and others, their attempt more recently to offer this Devo Max solution to tempt people back to the no side. I think that real change is required in the UK. My problem with the Yes campaign is that I don't think the SNP is really offering real change. There's a danger in fact that they could lock in their subservience to a London-centred British economic model which privileges the City of London at the expense of the northern regions, the devolved nations, privileges finance and the expense of industry and well-paying jobs. The SNP offers Scotland the Scandinavian model, but Scandinavian countries tend to have their own currency. Now it's interesting that the currency union debate has been at the very heart of the debate around independence in the lead up to this referendum, but I think it's been debated only very crudely. The SNP haven't explicitly said why they want to maintain sterling, and that's for the reason that they want to maintain trade, particularly in oil, with England. They want to maintain tourists from England as a key part of their economic strategy, and they want to maintain Edinburgh as a regional outpost subservient to the City of London. None of those, an economy based on those factors is not a genuinely autonomous economy. It's not a radically different economy to what Scotland has already. I think there's been a little bit of dishonesty from the No campaign too in arguing that they would not accept currency union, whereas I think they undoubtedly will, because it's in everybody's interests. Independence or not, the British economic model would be more or less be maintained under an SNP government in an independent Scotland, whichever party is in government in Westminster.
I think the case for Scottish independence begins with the many and long-standing historical failures of economic policy as it's been directed from Westminster. So in Britain we have one of the highest rates of inequality throughout Europe. We have some of the most lightly regulated labour markets, very high levels of low in-work poverty, and a low pay, low productivity economy. I know Craig, who have written this response to Craig Berry's blog, agrees about the long-term problems which exist in the UK's economy. However, in the context of the Scottish debate, more and more Scots are increasingly coming to the decision that their interests are better served within an independent Scotland than trying to shift their economic model than remaining within a UK state which is wedded to austerity and which is increasingly marching to the rights to the sound of the UKIP drum. Now, in response to Craig's blog, my principal point is really that Craig emphasises the role of SNP economic policy. But in 2 weeks' time, the debate is not going to be about purely SNP economic policy. We're voting about whether we want to stay in the UK state or not. 2016 is the time that there will be a Scottish election upon which Scots can vote on different political parties. So in 5, 10, 15 years, this is a politically negotiable settlement, and I don't think that the SNP's current economic policy can tell you what an independent Scotland could do in the years ahead. And I think one of the dangers of focusing on SNP economic policy now, or for that matter any of the mainstream parties, is that you miss a fundamental and profound shift that's taken place within Scottish society. And this is the massive mobilisation of groups who have been previously excluded from electoral politics, groups in working class communities who have been canvassed and registered and ready to vote, groups around initiatives like Radical Independence, like the Common Weal Initiative, like the Jimmy Reid Foundation, like Labour for Independence. There's been a veritable explosion of democratic renewal within Scotland as a result of this debate. And I think that's going to change the direction of travel of Scottish politics for many years to come.